Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Young Man with Rins, where we share the journey of a man in simple stories. My name is Rins. Welcome to The Young Man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Young Man. And of course, it's every Friday. We bring new guests to just share their highs and their lows, to come share everything that pertains to their career, everything they are doing. And I'm your host, Rins. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my very good friend here. His name is Dike Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, please just make welcome Dike Michael. Let's just give him the young man welcome.
Thank you, Perez, for having me. I
Yeah.
am truly grateful. And before I go into anything, I'd like to apologize for the time it's taken to do this. I know we talked about this a few months ago, and I was willing to do it, but just kept pushing and pushing. So I apologize. It's
No,
going
it's okay. It's okay. I understand. We're busy. You live in Scotland. I live in England. Um, you know, it's a lot of clashing schedules. Work, school. And then of course you're a PhD student. Very soon you'll be a doctor. How's the experience been?
extremely interesting and
Mm-hmm.
wonderfully challenging in the sense that it's interesting because um, I'm doing my PhD in. I'll have to introduce it. So it's the 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 need for quality management and occupational health and safety in electrical distribution. Uh, and basically, because my background has been environmental and engineering management, and now my main focus in PhD is quality management. It's an interesting area for me. These few years I've spent in my research has given me quite the broad view of how much quality is needed,
Mm.
not just in terms of the outcome or the product itself, but the process.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be alert, everyone needs to be knowledgeable, everyone needs
Mm.
to follow a certain standards
Yeah.
to regulations. And so, because I'm not a core engineer, I'm more of
Mm-hmm.
a social science person. Mine is just to stick to the managerial process of
Mm-hmm.
how you can get the best out of a product for
Yeah.
better consumer experience. So
Yeah.
that's where my research is kind of
Y-
focused.
And also, okay, like, can you just throw us back a little bit? How your schooling journey has been. Of course, we met in Abia State University, and you came to the UK to do your master. So can you just from there just pick up your journey doing your masters in Scotland and then of course UK. So what's your background in masters as relates to what you're doing
Yeah,
in
so
your PhD now?
yeah, thank you. Basically, my background is environmental resource management from Abia State University. And to
Okay.
be honest with you, it wasn't what I wanted to study. So my mom, going back, my mom was a banker, right?
Yeah.
A senior manager, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch her go to work wearing a smart suit. And in
Mm-hmm.
my head, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? This is what I want to do. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be nice.
Mm-hmm.
When I was applying for admission anyway, I wanted to study banking and finance
Mm-hmm.
because I like a bit of maths and calculation. So I felt that was my strong point.
Point. Yeah.
Obviously, when you go into Nigerian universities, you apply for one thing, they give you something else.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I passed the aptitude tests, when the admission came out, I actually my name appeared in the Department of Environmental Resource Management. And to be
Mm-hmm.
fair, I didn't know the department. I didn't know what it was about. And I had a conversation with my dad at that point, and he's like, "Do you want to do this, or do you want to stay at home for another year?"
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'll do it. I'll go into it. And then when I went into it, I obviously developed an interest in management. And when the time came after my doing my NYSC, an opportunity came to travel out for masters. We looked through. My mom and I looked through like what kind of courses will suit the
Yeah.
profile of what you've done. And the course I saw was energy and environmental management in oil and
Mm-hmm.
gas. And Scotland is just one of the places where you can actually see those kind of fine courses.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, Scotland has a lot of oil, even though they don't usually like they don't because of the climate justice, the climate movements. They don't really
Mm,
like the fracking exploration. They want to kind of diverse into clean energy. So everyone is kind of minimizing Scotland's ability to utilize their natural resources, unlike in a place like Nigeria, where Nigeria is heavily dependent on oil from
mm,
the
mm, mm, mm,
so these what would I call them? This movement of um, clean energy movement, they're kind of hindering Scotland. So Scotland has this educational process of clean energy and energy management. So
mm,
when I checked online, it was the course I saw, and it was affordable at the time because conversion of naira to pound was not that bad.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I came and I studied energy and environmental management, and
mm,
the opportunity for PhD came, and I also opted into quality management system because I felt um, I had to stick to the managerial process.
mm,
But I didn't want to go into core environmental engineering because I was not. I didn't want to be. It wasn't any specific thing for me in that area, but I felt like quality management would actually do me a good deal. So
mm.
environmental resource management in my first degree, energy and environmental management in my second degree, and quality
Mm.
management systems in my PhD. So I
You
think
know, one very interesting thing about like the knowledge and the migration um footprints that we are having globally is that a lot of people are very keen to come to the, in quote, the tier one countries. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
coming to, if you want to come to the UK, you just want to come to England.
yeah,
And people don't know that there is Scotland, there is Wales, and then there's Northern Ireland.
true,
And these places are very, very okay. And for the focus of our discussion, we wanted to just explore the idea behind the fact that there are other good places apart from England. As a matter of fact, England is even very, very overpopulated now because we have a lot of people coming into England. When I saw you in Scotland, right, and I started asking you a couple of questions. How how is the migration footprint now as compared to when you came? I think you came in
20,
4 years, 5 years ago or six.
2015. That's September will be 8 years.
Okay, 8 years ago. So how, comparing when you came and now, how has it been, the footprint?
In regards to the migration footprints,
Mm,
it's increased incredibly
okay.
because when I first came, we used to have an average. Say, I can only just use the environment I found myself, which is the university itself. So
Mm-hmm.
there would be an average of um, 10 to 15, let's say number of 10 to 15 in a class.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Nigeria is basically, we, we, we specialize in engineering courses such a way that you have instrumentation and control, you'd have environmental engineering, you have mechanical engineering. So these are where I could find black
Mm-hmm.
students. So just using that as an example,
Mm-hmm.
we dominated these areas. So I would say if you walked into a class of electrical engineering, you would see in a class of 50, you'd see maybe 20 black students, and
Yeah,
you would have between 12 to 15 Nigerians.
Nigerians.
From that time to this time, I can bet you that if you walked into a class of 50 students,
Mm-hmm.
electrical engineering, you
Mm-hmm.
would see 40 Nigerian students out of 50 students. So
Mm-hmm.
using that analogy, the footprint has been incredible. It has been incredible. I bring that also to my place of worship.
Mm-hmm.
You have, for example, we used to have maybe like 300 to 400
Mm-hmm.
worshipers on every given Sunday. Now it's increased, and you have between 600 to 700 worshippers on a given Sunday. And these are Nigerians with families, unlike before when you have just a single Nigerian, a guy or a lady come over for academics or come over for a job. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have a situation where it's a father and mother with children coming over,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not just coming themselves, they're coming with their parents to help take care of the children. So the migration prospect has increased drastically in the last
Mm-hmm.
few years. And I
Yeah.
think all this has got to do with the policies that the UK government has introduced over time. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to trace this down to Brexit. When I
Mm-hmm.
first came, um, what's his name? David Cameron was the prime minister, and
Okay.
Theresa May was the home secretary.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to me coming, they had just abolished the master's post study rule. So the rule used to be after masters you stay 2 years, get
Mm-hmm.
a job or do something else, and then you can leave. Or after PhD you stay 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But then shortly before I came, they abolished that. So after masters you only stay 4 months and
Mm-hmm.
then you go back. So that kind of hindered a lot of migration. So people didn't want to come spend 1 year and then only 4 months. They didn't really find the opportunity in the UK, so they were all migrating to US, especially Australia. But
Mm-hmm.
when Boris Johnson came in, I think sometime 2016 or shortly before or after that, he just came in with an open system and said and brought back the 2 year post study rule.
Yeah.
So that then allowed universities to open their gates for anyone who was willing to study. So that alone has caused a series of migration, and you can imagine the numbers of people
Mm-hmm.
who have come in. Even men looking at the news, you would see that Nigerians, Indians, and Pakistan, Nigerians, Indians, and Chinese
Mm-hmm.
majorly have dominated the entry route through the academic process. So
Yeah, academic route. Yeah.
that has been an incredible growth. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, walking down the streets, walking down the city center, walking
Mm.
down the schools, you would be amazed to see how many Nigerians. Because I'll specifically use Nigerians. How many
Mm.
Nigerians you have in Scotland? For example,
Mm.
my school recently did the students, what's it called, student election. So
Yeah.
you have both the Chinese, the Scottish people, everybody vying for the same students
Yeah. Position. Mm.
position. Out of the four elected positions that you need, all four of them were dominated by Nigerians.
Oh
All
wow.
four, from the
Wow.
president to the vice president to the secretary to the last
Mm.
member, all four
Mm-hmm.
are Nigerians. That's just how much you have in regards to my. That's just how big the numbers are in my
Mm-hmm.
school. So imagine Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Dundee. So all these other places that I have no much idea of. So there's
Mm-hmm.
been an incredible growth in regards to influx. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, yeah, talking from someone living in Scotland, and you've shown prospect, and people are doing well in that region, and also making people understand that people are coming to places, not just England. There are places people can go to, and for me, I used to tell people, like friends close to me in my status, I tell them, UK is not the only place people go and make it in life, right? And one of the thing in people also consider is the language barrier. Do you understand? And of course, we know that the version of English you guys speak in Scotland, the Scottish English is a bit different from what we speak here in England. And I just wanted to just, I don't know if you know this, but I just wanted to just share a bit more light on encouraging people to go elsewhere apart from coming to the UK. And why I want us to just talk a little bit about this is because when we have a lot of migration footprint in a particular place, the place itself, like the UK, would make laws that would curtail that footprint. You know what I mean? So I just want you to just share more light and then encourage people to go to places. There are other European countries that are very, very open right now for workforce and for students to just come and live their life after studying and then setting up their family. You know.
Thank you. I
Mm.
think you raised an important point in regards
Mhm.
to the influx in a certain region. And
Mhm.
I think one of the challenges you have when you have loads of migration is that one, it stifles the ability for growth because you
Mhm.
have so many people coming into the same place at the same time.
True.
Many people, if it's like posting a job opportunity and you have 50 people applying for that particular opportunity,
Mhm.
it's just a one person position, and
Mhm.
and that's all because you have a certain group of people in a certain location. And
Yeah.
I think all that has just been an opportunistic approach to leaving Nigeria. It's not basically that is anyone's not it's not the lack of willingness to go
Mhm.
to another place. It's just the opportunity to be somewhere. For
Mhm.
example, the UK policy under Boris Johnson made it very easy for people to come to the UK. Extremely easy. So, for example, a university can say to you, if you pay 15%, you can come
Mhm.
in, you can come in, and then you can pay the school fee much later. Now,
Mhm.
15% could just be maybe like £3,000, right?
Mhm.
And by paying that, you are already in the UK. and then sort yourself out. If other places don't give you that opportunity, it will be very difficult for you to want to look in that direction.
True.
To buttress your point in regards to other places being open, I believe that since Brexit, European countries are now extremely open, accessible
Exactly.
to many people
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
I know many Nigerians who are traveling to Germany, who are
Mm-hmm.
traveling to Sweden, who are
Mm-hmm.
Sweden is not a European country, but I mean it's opened as well. Who are traveling
Mm-hmm.
to Australia, who
Mm-hmm.
are also traveling to. I mean, Canada is even though Canada is hard to go, but I mean it's a place where many Nigerians are going to.
Exactly.
I think one of the challenges you can have is if we all were to focus our attention on only UK, I think we would do ourselves the harm of limiting the growth possibility only
Mm-hmm.
because we 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 have, how do I put this? If 100 people are coming in from Nigeria, not all 100 will be in the medical field, not all 100 will be in the
True.
engineering field.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're right.
if you have a group of low skilled Nigerians coming in and
Mm-hmm.
all being pushed into one workforce, it means that the financial the probability of you being financially stable in a
Mm-hmm.
short period is not going to work because you're going
True.
to be in an environment where you're not earning much. The
Mm-hmm.
earning potential is extremely low. But if you have Nigerians who are experts in their field coming in,
Mm-hmm.
it means that their earning potential is high because they can go into better
Mm-hmm.
better employment opportunities. So for me, it's the concern really is not that you have many Nigerians coming into the UK. The
Mm-hmm.
concern for me is that you have many Nigerians who are not really sure of what they want to do when they come in. So they
Mm-hmm.
come in and they try to fix themselves into many places that maybe is not their strong point. And in regards to what you said, um, if we can look into European countries, I was even talking to my sister the other day and I said, let's look into Germany, let's look
Mm-hmm.
into other, even though she has an American business anyway, but let's look into
Mm-hmm.
European countries. And I feel like if we spend more time doing that, we'll probably have many Nigerians going into Germany, going into
Yeah.
Spain, going into Brazil, and being experts in our field when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for me, basically, in regards to just making your question perfect, we can flourish anywhere we go if we put our hearts to it.
Exactly.
Globalization now has made it beautiful in such a way that we don't have to stay in Nigeria. We're not leaving Nigeria because we don't like Nigeria, just
Mm-hmm.
because we don't have the amenities to stay. We're not being
Mm-hmm.
helped out to stay, but we can thrive. We Nigerians have the capacity to survive, to thrive, to be better
Mm-hmm.
where we find ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
in order not to choke ourselves in a certain environment,
Mm-hmm.
for example, if you come to Glasgow, the number of Nigerians in Glasgow has greatly increased.
Mm-hmm.
Greatly increased. So in order not to choke ourselves in that environment, I think it's best if we spread out ourselves, spread our wings, go to
Mm-hmm.
places and kind of develop those areas based on our expertise. So I think
Mm-hmm.
globalization and migration to other places and not just a certain region is very
Mm-hmm.
important for the Nigerians.
You're right. And also to add to what you're saying, I also understand the fact that you'll be like, oh, I think I would have a lot of support if I maybe come to places like England and Scotland because there are other Nigerians there. But the truth is, you don't know the kind of support you would access when you maybe go to other places. And another very important point also, DK, is that all those places that we feel like, oh, people are not making it, people are not making money and all that, we will be shocked that when we go there, that their GDP is very, very okay and very stable, and people working there are actually making it big time. And then because there are low migration footprints, what happens at the end of the day, you realize that there are more options for you because you are there. And I can name some countries like Norway, like he also mentioned Germany, Sweden, Finland, Malta. Malta is opening their doors for people to come study. Right now, I was listening to a guy, that that was mentioning that there are places people can actually go to. And we are not doing this just to say do not come to
Come to
UK
UK.
or and then come to England or Scotland or no, or what's it called, Wales and Northern Ireland. We're just saying that you're you are not limited to just few options. There are diverse options. And for instance, there are the point-based system other countries use, like the Canada, New Zealand, Australia. People can actually try it, and because we don't have a lot of people, you know, vocal about it, people
Yes.
feel like it's difficult. And you realize by the time you start doing the
Not
deep
too
study,
difficult, actually.
yeah, doing the deep study, you realize that, oh, it might actually be the one that would, you know, go there and open up that place for other people to see that is very, very possible. To tie up my point, why we are in the UK, I mean, you are in Scotland, I'm in England, is because people have come in and they were very vocal. Oh, you could do this here, you could do this. And then we were like, okay, let me try it because someone has gone ahead. But imagine you are the first person, or maybe first set of people, or even maybe a second generation of people that in places like maybe Australia, New Zealand, and all those places, and making it big time. And then you are part of the people sharing the good narrative about those places. You see, people will have more options as well. I get what I'm saying, to now go to all those places and try out their luck. And I mean, finally, you said it. Anything that will put our minds to, even if it's in the UK, right? You would make it. You would, and succeed in it because I mean, you are putting your mind to it, and then you are working hard, because hard work and putting your mind and focus is a universal language. Anybody that puts such principle in work and in play would work for the person.
Just to,
So, yeah, go
before I go
ahead.
to the next question, just to buttress on what you
Mm,
just said,
yeah.
I think another thing that we can do is research,
Mm-hmm.
serious research in
Yeah.
regard to
Very
what
important.
what
Mm-hmm.
other countries provide,
Mm-hmm.
best route to get into the countries. Now,
Mm-hmm.
say for example, a country like Australia. When I
Mm-hmm.
finished my masters, I don't know if they still do that now, but say half my friends went to Australia because Australia had a program where they were offering masters engineering students 18 months visa, right?
Oh, wow.
Come for it after your masters in the UK, come to Australia for 18 months and
Hmm.
find a job. And all my friends who went to Australia all have jobs today in
Hmm.
Australia. And this was a program they were running at the time when I finished my masters. Now I don't know if that's still working. I
Hmm.
almost went, but I felt like okay, you're already in the UK. Why not just stay in the UK?
Mm-hmm.
Stay
Mm-hmm.
put, don't go any other place. But I bet you about eight of my classmates who went at the time are all stable and have a
Hmm.
job in Australia right now.
Hmm.
So I
Research.
think, yeah,
Hmm.
I think research goes a long way. So
Hmm.
what does Finland have to offer me? What does Sweden have to
Mm-hmm.
offer me? What does Netherlands have to offer me? What does
Mm-hmm.
Australia have that I need? There's no
Mm-hmm.
point just focusing or putting all your baskets or your
Mm-hmm.
eggs in the UK, thinking
Mm-hmm.
only UK is going to work for me. There's
Mm-hmm.
so many places that can work for you. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, if you were to just do a simple research and say, okay, if I were to put if I were to try Australia, how many years can I get out of this? If I were to start this process, and what are my survival chances? What are my employment? What are my what skills do I have that gives me better employment, or what can
Mm-hmm.
I do? I mean, I have a my brother-in-law. He's an engineer in the UK. He used to
Mm-hmm.
work with a good company in Nigeria, and he just began developing his skills based on short courses, and he got a job straight to the UK. And probably that's UK where he wanted to be. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that and go to other countries as well, just based on your skill, based on what
Mm-hmm.
you're able to research out of the internet. So I
Yeah.
think if we do that, that will save us a lot.
True. Before we move over to the next point, I just a train of thought came to me while you were trying to, like deep dive into an aspect of what we are trying to discuss. Another thing is that what research does for you is to also open your minds to the business opportunities in the region. Every region have their peculiarities. For instance, Italy, everybody know Italy produce high quality shoes. That's why they say the Italian shoes. And that's why you have most of the shoe companies and shoe brands, they are Italian products. And somewhere like if you go to somewhere like Paris, also you get such brands as well, like all the Gucci, and all those brands, like in terms of clothes, Paris, shoes, talked about the Italian shoes, and then the brands that are acclimatized to Italy. Somewhere like Norway, for instance, you're a business person and you're thinking of, okay, I want to deal with stockfish, for instance. Norway is the headquarters. They produce that and export to the world. So that can also inform, oh, I want to do this maybe 10 years in my life. I want to do a shoe business. I want to do a stockfish business. I want to do, for instance, a fashion business. And then what will happen is that instead of going to where people are going just for going sake, research tells you this is what these guys do. And then you now be like, oh, I want to do this in 10 years. I will now go and school there. It's easier for me that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've schooled, for instance, in Italy, schooling there will make me open me up to learning the language. Schooling there will make me build better connect and networks. When I'm done with school and I want to start my business, I'm already on track. You are better off than someone coming fresh to just do the business and hit the road. But you already use your school year to understudy the environment. You know what I mean? So and that is also very, very applicable to other areas. For instance, you love tourism. Schooling in Malta can open you up to such opportunities there, because since you're already in Malta and know people go to Malta because they have good environment, they have good seafronts, and all that. Places like Maldives and all those places, it has similar um environment and topography. Schooling in Malta can open you up setting up a business in tourism. You know what I mean? So that is the ripple effect of doing the research and tying an end goal to it, saying that this is what I want to do. For instance, I personally don't like UK. I am here for now. But if you give me an opportunity to go to places like US, I'll probably take it. You know why? I love entertainment.
I see.
US is the hub of entertainment. Are you kidding me? Like that's where Hollywood is. Do you understand? In US, you probably you live in Las Vegas or maybe Texas or one of those places. You probably see all the celebrities working because they live around.
And another thing, just to
Do you
chip
understand?
yeah, just to
No.
chip into what you're saying, I think
Mm.
what makes a place what makes a place good is the law and the policy that's
Exactly.
has been invented or
Mm.
that has been proposed to help govern the place. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in a place like the UK now and you want to start a business, you need a visa that
Mm-hmm.
approves that business opportunity.
True.
So no matter the kind of opportunity you have, if you don't have that visa, it becomes difficult. And just to get
Exactly.
the visa alone, there are so many requirements, so many
And
processes,
rules. Yeah.
many rules. So all these stringent bottleneck
Mm-hmm.
implemented rules just make it difficult for you to actually start something worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
So if you as a business person wanted to come to the UK, you already know that it's going to be a tough journey.
Exactly.
Because is either you want to start the business from Nigeria and
Mm-hmm.
maybe pay tax in Nigeria or evade let me not even bring tax into it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
wanted to start a business in the UK, the process you have to submit account documents, account statement, processing,
True.
all these things have to go into play. And then the moment you start the business, you start paying all the requirements you need to. So is the law in the place? So for example, we should not just brought in this tax system that makes it difficult to do business in the UK. And from the
Mm-hmm.
news I was reading yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
being encouraged to abolish the tax system so that
Mm-hmm.
he can I think is the tourist tax. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever you pay needs to be whatever you buy in the UK as a tourist is taxed differently. So
Mm.
it's right to abolish that. So I mean, if all these things are not in play, it means you're encouraging tourists to come in.
Yeah.
Just don't have these. So you go in as a tourist, or you have the right visa and you want to do a business. That's why people are doing well in Dubai, because Dubai doesn't have all these stringent rules
Exactly.
for you
You
doing your
know.
business. You pay your tax, you pay your dues, but it allows everyone to come in, and that's why Dubai has really grown, because it's giving room to everybody.
Exactly.
It's not,
You're right.
unfortunately, UK is not like that.
Mm.
It's good if you have money.
And that's the focus of our discussion, to understand the
Yeah,
opportunities and then the disadvantage and advantages that these opportunities bring in different regions, so people can start thinking that way,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, everybody wants to make money.
true.
Everybody wants, and you don't want, like, for instance, there are people that live in the UK and do a lot of businesses abroad,
Yeah,
like in Dubai and all those places. I've heard some people, they have made so much money, they live in the UK, they buy yachts,
yeah,
put on the riverbanks, and people hire. Do you understand? And all that. Are there laws that govern all those things? Is that this is just like you said. People try to have to start looking into all these things and then telling themselves, okay, I am coming here, but this is a stage. I'm going to leave to now go to where I want to actually do what I want to do, or I am coming here and I'm going to do business here. You know what I mean? So, like the US, I think US have a more favorable environment when it comes to entertainers. That you would see more of the comedy clubs. There are in the UK, but it's not as it is in the US. You know, there are a lot of talk shows, podcasts going on in the US, and they are open for people coming to just learn and study what they are doing. You know, all the talk shows is in the US. Most of them.
Should be okay.
Check the Allen Show, the Steve Harvey, the late night. You know, all those shows that are in the US. And people, someone like me, I am working, and I know maybe Steve Harvey shooting down the road. I'll probably take leave and
Yeah.
go and watch Steve. You know,
It's
because
just,
I love Steve Harvey. Come on, you know
yeah.
what I mean. So it's just understanding the environment and understanding the advantages and disadvantages. Of course, for instance, disadvantage for US is a lot of shooting going on. You know, yes, you know, a lot of guns everywhere. You know, you can buy a gun like paracetamol. You understand? And statistics says that this year's gun violence is now more than last year's.
On
You
the
know,
last
like
year,
we
undeniably.
are just in second quarter, and a lot is going on in the US. Are you willing to take that? Is a disadvantage, but I suppose the advantage of actually being an entertainer and having that robust economy to back up what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know, so
And
and
it's just sorry to cut you short. I think one of the things that needs to be recognized in this conversation is the need for us to not just talk about migration, but absolutely migrating and benefiting our host, our environment, like in terms of home country. I feel
exactly.
like, yeah, if for say for example you want to take your entertainment to the states and you wanted to do something there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like your platform enables you to also grow in both America and Nigeria. If I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do a business, obviously I will not be thinking of let me just start a business only to do that in the UK and
Mm-hmm.
get Nigeria completely. The way I've looked at it is when I go into business, I want to be able to use this country as a place where I raise my income. That
Mm-hmm.
gives me a better way to make my income, and then I can invest them back home and try to raise something better back home or something good back home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think many Nigerians are doing that already, and many Nigerians like myself, I hope to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereby I have an opportunity now.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, it's been a student route for me, unable the inability to do business anyway because I can't. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, in a few years' time, I'll be out of it, and then
Mm-hmm.
I have all the opportunities to spread my wings and do the business I want to do. But I
True.
think the important thing is to profit well, to benefit where we are coming, to profit or rather to encourage and to grow the
Mm-hmm.
economic status of where we are coming from, to use the academic knowledge that we have, to use the business knowledge that we have to kind of grow Nigeria, so that if anybody is coming in, they don't just leave Nigeria as an escape or as an escape route or
Mm-hmm.
just to flee Nigeria, but just to see it as a short term leave to just go better themselves and come back and improve Nigeria. I'll give you an example. My
Go
dad
ahead, please.
studied in America and
Mm-hmm.
he studied chemistry in his second degree and economics as well.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he finished his economics, his master's in economy, and he came down to Nigeria, he became the managing director for a beer brand in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the big breweries, and
Mm-hmm.
when he was telling me about his life, he didn't tell me. He told me that he didn't believe Nigeria would become so bad. That
Mm-hmm.
his idea of the world was go improve yourself in America, come back to Nigeria, and be the best you can be. And that's what he tried to do. He started his business. He's had like three businesses. One
Mm-hmm.
is thriving, but at least with the knowledge of what he's got abroad, he's been able to come back and improve his
Mm-hmm.
country in the way that he can. And I feel like I know that Nigeria is like a one step forward, 10 step backward kind of thing. But I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if everybody was to invest in Nigeria with
Mm-hmm.
what they've been able to get abroad,
True.
Nigeria would be a better place. Imagine if everyone was doing a good business, everyone was paying their taxes, everyone was
Mm-hmm.
best in the environment, then it's good. I mean, I don't. The purpose of migration should not just be okay. I've seen an opportunity to travel to the UK. I'm not coming
Mm-hmm.
back again. You've heard many
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians say that. No, the
Mm-hmm.
purpose should be I'm going to empower myself to come back and be a blessing to
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria. So as an entertainer, you come back to the Nigerian scene. I mean, I mean, you can still have that platform, and I bet you would have you have a better platform in Nigeria than
Mm-hmm.
maybe in abroad. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the need to also think of going back home at some point.
let me just tell you what my plan is. And I've not said it here on the podcast, but because you came towards this corridor, so the young man will have a video expression by next year, and the plan is that we are going to shoot in Nigeria. So the video expression we want to do, we don't want to do the cliche. People shoot their podcast and then put on YouTube. What we want to do is that we want to shoot it and put it on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Apple Music, Apple TV. So this is what we are looking at, but it's going to be done in Nigeria. And the reason we are doing it is what you are talking about. We have come here, we have started from here, right? What I want to do is now because taking the podcast shooting back to Nigeria is going to create employment. The the directors, the script writers, the costumiers is going to get a job that is not going to be for free. I get what I'm saying. And of course, people that is going to come would experience a different version of entertainment they have not seen before. So it's also like a way to build the economy, build the Nigerian, and then telling the Nigerian story to the world in a good way. I get what I'm saying. So shooting in Nigeria, of course, by the time we package it and people know, oh, this was shot in Nigeria, we're like, wow, this is good. You know what I mean? So that's our idea. And one of the reason I am, being vocal about it right now is that by the time I go to Nigeria, for the first visit I'm going to do to Nigeria is to have meetings regarding this. Meet directors, meet people that are work with Netflix to see how we can all package in such a way that it can be sold to Netflix and then people can stream it around the world. That is the plan for Young Man. And I mean, we can talk on and on and on, but I think we've made justice to show some comparison regarding England, Scotland, and other places people can go for migration. Any last words?
Yeah, I mean, basically,
Mm.
never limit the dream. To be fair,
Mm-hmm.
never limit the dream.
Mm.
I always think that the doors are always open and there will always be opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
For those who have the opportunity to travel abroad, keep them alive. But the most important thing to think about or to research about is what you want to do when
Mm-hmm.
you're abroad, what opportunities you want to make for yourself. If I had to go back to think of my life again, I would more focus on what kind of opportunities I'm looking for abroad than
Mm-hmm.
just going to school abroad. So I think that
True.
would help instead of just thinking, okay, it's just a course, it's a 2 year program, I just finish it and then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is what kind of opportunities do I need to open myself up to in the
Mm-hmm.
first year I'll be here, so that the moment you enter the country, you hit the ground running, and in less than 2 years, you already have
Mm-hmm.
share on how
Mm-hmm.
on the opportunities you've been able to get. And
Mm-hmm.
also, please, there's no limitation. It's not a UK thing. I know there's been a lot of,
Exactly. Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be UK. I mean, there are other beautiful places you can go to. I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised to see Nigerian students in Ghana, no Ghana, sorry, in Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to school.
Yeah, I was
I was
shocked as well. Yeah.
surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Sudan. I'd never think in Nigeria no school in Sudan, but
Mm-hmm. True.
definitely
And there were many of them. Yeah.
very many of them. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no limitation to where you can go to, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be on this platform. And when the video type comes, I would like to be there as well.
It's okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was a very big God bless you to DK. Thank you for that wisdom. Thank you for the fact that we bantered on these things. And I
Thank
pray that we'll get you back and then we'll deep dive into different aspects and then narrow down on topical discussions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. And of course, we've come to the end of this episode. My name is Rains. And until next time, keep being inspired. And guess what? Next Friday's guest is going to be a banger. All right. Bye.
thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. Cheers.
Wow, that was an amazing session with our guest today. I want you to also know that The Young Man with Rings is available on all streaming platforms every Friday. If you enjoyed this episode, kindly share, subscribe, and comment. See you next Friday. I remain your humble host, Rins.